Hey hunties, welcome to my channel. Thank you for watching my last video. I really appreciate all the views, comments, likes, subscribes. So I thought I'd do a second video. This video is this look here. I didn't have much inspiration on this one. I just wanted to use yellow, and I really wanted to use my new palette that arrived today. The new Yama Angelica palette from Juvia's Place. So yeah, the look was inspired by the palette, in all fairness, just trying to use as many of the shades as possible. So this is what it looks like. Really happy. So carry on watching and I will break it down for you in the next video. Right, so let's get started. The first product I'm going to be using is for my brows. It's the KVD brow pomade in Walnut, and I'm going to be using this to fill in my brows. And I'm going to be using the 195 brush from MAC to create the shape. So I'm just using a spoolie to brush up my brows to get the right shape going. And then going in top and bottom of my brow to get the shape going. So I've done both brows, but naturally this brow is always bigger. But brows are sisters and not twins, so I'm not gonna perfect them to be exactly the same because they're not. And then I'm gonna go in with the NYX brow gel in espresso just to set my brow hairs in place. Oops, so I lied. I actually used the 266 brush from MAC for my brows, and I'm using the 195 brush for my base. So I'm using the P. Louise base in Rumor number 4. And I'm just going to use this to shape the under bit of my brow to get ready for eyeshadow. So I've got a really nice base going on. I've done both sides now. And I'm going to go in with an eyeshadow next. I'm going to be using the Juvia's Place Yama Angelina palette, and I'm also going to be using my favourite palette of all time, well loved, well loved, the Be Perfect Clientele palette by Jar. This palette is, I promise you, one of the best palettes I probably have ever had, and I think it will always be my staple go-to for myself, for freelance, for any look, sultry or glam. You can do absolutely everything with this palette. So I'm going to be using a bit of this for the darker brownie colours. So I'm going to go in with the shade Brownie in the Be Perfect Cosmetic palette, and this colour I'm going to work kind of halfway in my crease and halfway out. So it's kind of going to be the middle shade. Oh, I'm using the 217 brush from MAC. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. And then I'm going to go in with the shade Too Much, again from the Be Perfect palette. And I'm going to work this slightly closer to my socket. This is just going to give us the depth to create that crease when we cut it with our base. So all the shades should be getting intensified that little bit more to create that really nice crease. So now I'm going to go in with the shade Just Black in the Be Perfect Cosmetics palette, and I'm using the Sorry to Light M321 in the Morphe brush. This is a really tight packing brush, so I'm going really tight in my crease with this so that I can get that black concentrated in that socket. Oh God, oops. Right, I'll sort that mistake out in a minute. Just work that depth, just keep on going. So this all looks very intense. So I'm going to be going in with the yellow from the Yama palette. And I'm going to be using the Sigma E40 brush to basically soften that edge. So I'm trying to create that lightness at the top. This is going to take a while to kind of build and to get that merge going. So just be patient and just give it you just want to work in circular motions, just picking up the colour underneath. Right, so obviously it looks like a dirty black kind of colour, and then mixed with yellow, which is almost going like a greeny colour. So I'm just going to use another brush, another 217 brush, and I'm going to be using the shade Yatusabe in the palette, just to kind of bring that warmth back from the original brownie colour. I'm just going to kind of put this in between. This is where the importance of a transition colour comes in. When you're going for something so dark to then like probably one of the brightest colours, you will get that in-between tinge of a green, a grey, or that kind of just dirty colour, which is not what we want. So yeah, anything kind of warm, orange usually works to kind of fill in as that other middle colour. And you just want to keep on blending until that blend between the black and the yellow looks nice. So we went from this dirty weird colour to actually quite a nice blend. I'm actually quite happy with that now. So because we have such a dark colour and then we're going to be going to lighter colours, I'm going to use the Estee Lauder Take It Away makeup remover. So I'm just going to use this to take away the shape I want to then be able to put another base down to then get the colour. So now I've got that nice blocked out shape, I'm going to go in with the P. Louise blank canvas paint, and I'm going back in with the same brush, the 195, to basically not cut, we've already done that, to create the shape, and then we're going to put eyeshadow on top of this. Right, work quickly to get that on because this will dry really quickly. I'm going in with a Sigma brush, the E55. I'm pressing it straight into that yellow. I just want to get this on before it dries and cracks. Right, that's the majority of the colour on. Literally race for time. So I'm going to go in with another smaller brush just to get a bit closer to that line. And this is one of my favourite brushes. This brush is a Zoeva brush and it's a 240 Luxe Petit pencil. And it is clean, but it's really small. So this gets really nicely, I can get a bit closer to that line. So now I'm going to go in with the Juvia Doodle Hydra Liner, and then I'm going to be using the Peaches and Cream 46 PC 46. So I'm going to use a little bit of a fixing spray just to get this a bit wet, and then we're going to go in with the liner. So what I'm going to do is use the white liner on the inner part of my eye, but then I'm going to switch to the blank canvas just because I'm going to be using a different colour. So I'm going to use the Yatusabe halfway over. And then I'm going to go back in with the brownie, so again working that gradient back from what we did the first time. And then into Too Much. And then into black. Right, so I'm going to go back in with the brownie colour from the Yummy palette and just use that to kind of smoke from the black. Trying to get that line to not disappear, so what I might do is go back over. Might actually go back over with a black liner to get that a bit sharper. So the black definitely made it, and the black I used was Inglot's gel liner. I believe it's 99, the big size. This is a small size, but yeah, their black gel liner is incredible, so it just goes over everything. So I did that on the end with another small brush. I think I used an angled brush actually, yeah. Don't have a brand for this, but it was a really small angled brush. But I feel that this white bit isn't white enough in the inner bit, so I'm going to use the P. Louise Re-White. This is another version of the blank canvas. It's the same kind of paste, so I'm going to be using that to get that white to be white. That's better. Right, so a little trick that I like to do just to get my cut creases really sharp is to go back in with either the darkest colour or maybe a shade or two lighter to basically pick up that darker edge. I'm gonna go in with the Too Much, the darker brown that I used, just to chisel that shape out a bit more to get that line really nice and crisp, and to also, because the white line is there, it will just make it even sharper. So I'm just going to go back over that just to show you how you can make that cut crease really strong. So that is quite sharp, but I probably want to go a little bit more, so I'm going to go with the black now. The just black. Cool, happy with that. So now I'm going to do the other side, and we're back. Yeah, I've done both sides. White liner is not forgiving, literally every little bit. So yeah, done that. And I put a little bit of mascara on as well. And now I'm gonna put on my lashes. So I'm gonna put on the yellow ones. And I'm gonna do this off camera, but I'll show you. Again, I have used these, but they look like that. And as I mentioned, all my lashes have a bit of glitter on them. I don't know if you can see with my yellow top, but yeah, all of them have a little bit of glitter on them, so I'm going to pop those on now. So this is the yellow ones. My favourite. I say my favourite. All of them are my favourites, but the yellow ones were yellow in colour because yellow is my favourite colour, and so I put my favourite lashes in that colour. So yeah, these are really nice and fluffy. They're like crisscross, really nice, and yeah, they just, well, I think they suit any look. So this is more towards a glam, but day to day they're really nice as well. So yeah, these are my faves. And then, so we're gonna go on to skin now. So for foundation, I'm going to be using the Estee Lauder Double Wear. Excuse mine is very dirty. But this is literally the best foundation ever on the market. No one can tell me any different. It just stays, it's such a good foundation. I'm using Amber Honey. The one thing I love about this foundation is that it just doesn't budge. You could leave it on, not that I'm recommending this, but you could leave it on morning and night and for the next day and it will still be there. And I just think, especially being a black woman, transferring, touching paper, leaving orange traces is not a vibe. So this is why I love it so much. I don't have to worry about it transferring on anything because it just stays. Once it's on, it's on. So this is a full coverage foundation. And depending on how I feel, I might even just use what's left over on my brush some days, just because it just evens out your skin tone with a little amount. And this is just one pump that I've done so far, obviously not blended in properly, but for one pump of a foundation, this coverage is good. Right, so then I'm gonna go on to the concealer I'm gonna use is the Too Faced Warm Sand Concealer. It's always complimentary to use a concealer, blusher, highlighter, contour, anything to go up on the face. So I'm going to use a beauty blender. It's not actually a beauty blender, but a blending sponge to basically pat. And you'll see how easy this kind of blends into the skin. Literally just a few pats and that is like literally blended into the skin with absolutely zero effort. So now I'm gonna get a translucent powder and I'm gonna use my favourite Fenty, the Pro Filter loose powder in Honey, and I'm gonna use the opposite side of my sponge and just press that in. So then I'm going to be using for my bronzer the Fenty Beauty in Cutie Caramel. And I'm going to just be using this on my forehead. This bronzer isn't much darker than what I am, but I feel it just creates that blend and blur between my foundation and concealer. Another really lovely one is Cocoa Naughty. That one's lovely. I just find it looks a bit too red. Maybe in the summer when I'm a bit darker, but at the moment I just feel it looks like my blusher, and I haven't done that yet, so I went down a shade and went for Cutie Caramel, which is ever so slightly more warmer and golden. I'll show you. So it looks more, as I said, goldeny instead of reddy. And then for my blusher, I'm going to use my new favourite, which is in the Juvia's Place Saharan Blush Volume 1 palette, and I'm using the shade Toby. And this I'm just going to pick up, lift and flick. As I was saying, it's always about pulling your face up, bringing that shade up towards the temples. So now I'm going to do my under eyes, and I'm just going to use the shades that I use on the outside on the top to smoke it out, and do the same underneath. Put some liner on and put some mascara on my bottom lashes. And I'll be back. Right, so I have put mascara on the bottom, and I've also done a bit of eyeshadow on the bottom as well. And then I also put a bit of Glitter Queen just on the inner parts of my eyes as well, just to make it pop. I was thinking how I could have used that in this look and found it. So I'm going to be using my favourite trusted go-to lip liner, which is Chestnut by MAC. I have about a million of these. It's just the perfect brown, and yeah, it's my favourite combination. And then I'm going to be mixing it with In Vogue Juvia's Place. It's like a corally kind of colour to go with this look. And I think I'm going to put a gloss on top, but we'll see what it looks like. So now I'm just going to do the finishing touches, and yeah, I will show you the finished look. Right, and I'm done. Really chuffed with this look. So the finishing touches I did is I used a bit of Juvia's Place and Nubia highlighter just along my nose and on my cheekbones. And that was it really. Put some earrings on and we're good to go. I think I will cave and I will put a gloss on eventually, but in the meantime, she's cute. Thank you so much for watching again, and please like, subscribe and comment below, and please let me know if there's anything you want me to cover next time, if there's anything that you would like me to do differently next time, and yeah, see you on the other side.